Hi, 8th grade. We're going to be going through pages 13 through 16 really quickly here, um, in the same way that I would if we were having a meet. But since probably not everybody can get in on a meet at the same time, I'm just going to go over it with you. But you need to have your pages ready, or you need something to write on to record some of this stuff because I'm going to be giving you about half of the correct answers. So, we're going to begin on page 13, and we're talking about pronouns. A subject pronoun can be used as the subject of a sentence, like we, or I, or you, or they, okay? An object pronoun is a pronoun that can be used as an object, like a direct object, or an indirect object, or the object of a preposition. Um, like the word him or the word me. A possessive pronoun shows possession. So that's an easy one to think about. But there are two kinds of possessive pronouns, the ones that act like adjectives and the ones that act like nouns. So for example, my is the adjective pronoun that tells you which thing something is, the thing that belongs to me. My notebook. Okay? And then if I wanted to use a noun form of that, it would be mine. So this notebook is mine. Okay? And all of these things are on the top of page 31. I'm just kind of going over it before I really get started here. Complete it. Circle the pronouns that correctly complete the sentences. So there are 12 of these exercises on page 13, and I'm going to go through 6 of them and give you the correct answers. Number 1 has 2 pronouns to circle. Blank friend Kyoko. Okay, in this case, we need the adjective form of the pronoun, which I just told you was my. So my friend Kyoko ordered butterfly eggs for our science experiment or ours science experiment. Again, I need the adjective form, and if you were to look above at the top of the page, you would see that our is the adjective form. Number 2, then we need, let's see, blank soon arrived. Okay, now we need a subject one, and it's they. So they soon arrived, safely shipped inside blank sealed container. Now we need a possessive, and it's a plural possessive because it's more than one butterfly egg. And so safely shipped inside their sealed container. Number 3, blank opened it. Okay, it is the correct answer for that one. And the other one, we need a subject pronoun. So it will be we opened it to find the eggs lying in rows on a leaf. So far, each one has 2 answers. Not all of them have 2 answers. Just make sure that you look and see if they have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 answers for each question. Number 4, Kyoko lifted the leaf from blank box. Okay, so now we need a possessive, so it's its box, and placed what inside an aquarium? Placed it inside an aquarium. It's not possessive. Number 5, the aquarium was blank, so blank prepared the sugar water. Okay, which one sounds better? The aquarium was her? That sounds weird because it sounds like she is an aquarium. No. The aquarium was hers, so I prepared the sugar water, because me prepared the sugar water would just not sound right and would not be right. Number 6, in just a couple of days, the caterpillars hatched and began wriggling blank little bodies. There are 2 choices. Theirs is the noun form, their is the adjective form. And we need the adjective form, so it's their little bodies. You can try the rest of those on your own, and I'm going to go on to the next page. The sentences below contain errors in pronoun usage. Rewrite each sentence to correct the errors. Now, I'm not going to make you write the whole sentence, but you do need to write the pronouns that you are changing. Number 1 says, mine Aunt Helga was married last week to hers best friend. Mine is the wrong form. We need the adjective form. So it's my Aunt Helga and was married last week to, and again, we need the adjective form, her best friend. So on the blank or on your piece of paper, you can write my and her. And you don't have to write the whole sentence. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Number 2, frogs enlarge them vocal sacs to make sounds that will attract a mate. There is only one word that needs to be changed on number 2, and it's where it says them, because we need a possessive, so it would be T-H-E-I-R, there. Number 3, them shipped theirs automobile overseas, so it would be waiting for they in England. That one has 4 words to change. So in your paper or on the link, you need to write they, okay, and then the next one that needs to change is theirs, because we need the adjective form to describe the automobile. So they, and then their automobile overseas. So, and then it is the subject of the sentence. It's not possessive, so it should be it. And then we'll be waiting for them. It should be the object form. So on your blank or on your piece of paper, you should write they, and then their, T-H-E-I-R, and then it, and then them. Number 4, Henry painted yours portrait, framed it, and wrapped them as a gift. Okay, it is correct. So there are 2 words that need to be changed on that sentence. The first one is yours, because we need the adjective form without the S. And then the second one is the word them, because he's only wrapping one thing, the portrait. So it should just be it and not them. So we need to write your and it. Number 5. Let me see how many there are on this page. There are 10 of these, so I'm going to do number 5 and I'm going to go on. Number 5, the St. Louis Cardinals played their last home game yesterday. The thing that needs to be changed, I hope you heard that it sounded wrong, is the word they, because we need the possessive form. The game belonged to the St. Louis Cardinals. And so that needs to be changed to their, T-H-E-I-R. Okay. Now, do all the rest of those, and then I want you to do the try it on this page. It says write sentences containing each type of pronoun. Subject pronoun. Okay. So, you can use I, you can use we, you can use it, okay, but you have to use the pronoun as the subject, okay? So, I am tired. That's fine. Or, I went to the store. Or, she went to the store. She is an object, a subject pronoun, sorry. Next one is object pronoun. The object would be like us, or like me, or like you, but you can be either subject or object. It needs to be used in the position of the object. So, Mary likes you, or Mary likes me, or Mary likes him, okay? Something like that. Just use an object type of pronoun and the object position in the sentence. Possessive pronoun that comes before a noun, that's like the adjective forms that we talked about already. Look at the top of the page. And then the possessive pronoun that stands alone, that would be the noun form. So look at the top of the page for that. Next page says intensive and reflexive pronouns. I was looking at someone's work, and she did this entire page and did not write the correct things because she didn't pay attention to what it was. And also the next page, another student did the entire thing wrong because she didn't pay attention to the directions. So pay attention to the directions. It says identify whether the bold-faced word in each sentence is an intensive or reflexive pronoun. So we're not doing the adjective form or noun form. We're not doing subject form or object form. We're doing I for intensive and R for reflexive. Remember, those are the ones that end in self or selves. And they've already got them bolded in the sentence for you. Intensive means that it's just there to emphasize something, and if you take it out, the sentence would make sense in the same way. So number 1, like that. Mr. Hinkins explained that the garden itself would sit on a hill above the pond. Okay. If we took out the word itself, the sentence would mean the same thing. Mr. Hinkins explained that the garden would sit on a hill above the pond. So the word itself is only there for emphasis. So it's I for intensive. Number 2, after purchasing their tickets at the box office window, Madeline and Sonia bought themselves some popcorn and bottled water at the concession stand. Now, this one, themselves, is the indirect object of the sentence. And so it is needed. If we didn't have it, it would be like, Madeline and Sonia bought some popcorn and bottled water at the concession stand. Sentence makes sense, but we don't know for whom they bought the popcorn and bottled water. So, themselves is reflexive. That means that the action is reflected back onto the subject, Madeline and Sonia. Number 3, for safety reasons, a roofer should always attach himself by rope to a well-secured hook on the rooftop. And this one, himself, is the direct object. If it's a direct object or indirect object or object of a preposition, then we know that it is reflexive. So R for reflexive. Number 4, the rocking chairs themselves will be hand-delivered by my brother and uncle. And that one, is not an object. It's just emphasizing that it's the rocking chairs that we are talking about. So it's I for intensive. Number 5, the raccoon fed itself midstream while balanced on a rock. Itself is the direct object. It's who the raccoon or what the raccoon fed. And so it is R for reflexive. Number 6, before speaking with the principal, I reminded myself to take a deep breath and remain calm. I reminded myself. Myself is the direct object of reminded. And so it is R for reflexive. So we need to, I'm going to go on and you need to do the rest of them on that page in the same way. Okay. The last page we are doing for right now is page 16. And it's intensive and reflexive pronouns. And like the other page, somebody did the whole page without paying attention to what the directions said. It says, complete each sentence below with a reflexive or an intensive pronoun. So your answer must have self or selves at the end of it. Number 1, Kyle and Luis blank worked all summer to build a 2-story treehouse. So that sentence makes sense without what we're going to put. So it's intensive. But you don't have to know that. You just have to know which one goes with Kyle and Luis. And so Kyle and Luis is plural. And it's third person. It's not talking about the speaker. So it's Kyle and Luis themselves. Number 2, Sean scooped up a spoonful of jam and finished making himself a sandwich. Well, I already told you the answer. It was so easy for me to say it that I couldn't skip it. Finished making himself a sandwich. Who did he make the sandwich for? He made a sandwich for himself. Number 3, please go downstairs and get the laundry. Okay. So right now, you know what I'm saying. I don't need to add another word, but it's intensive. But who are we talking about? We're talking about the you that the person is talking to. Please go downstairs and get the laundry yourself. In other words, don't make me do it or don't make your sister do it. You go down there and get it yourself. Okay. Number 4, I blank plan to spend the morning sanding and staining this chair. So the antecedent is I, and so we need to make it first person, I myself. Okay. Number 5, moments before the first bell rings, the students at Lincoln Junior High gather blank at the front entrance. So the students is who is going to be gathering at the front entrance. So it's plural, so it should be gather themselves. By the way, some people write theirselves. Theirselves is not a word, so make sure that you write themselves. Themselves. Okay, number 6, the dishwasher blank will need to be installed by a plumber. Okay, so it's going to be intensive, emphasizing the word dishwasher. Dishwasher is a thing, so it's itself. And you don't need 2 S's, by the way, only 1 S. And number 7, let's do one more. Deep inside the cave, a colony of bats can keep blank well hidden throughout the day. Okay, so the bats can keep the bats well hidden. So instead of saying the bats again, let's say themselves. A colony of bats can keep themselves well hidden throughout the day. Actually, bats is not the antecedent. Colony is the antecedent. I believe we need to, instead of on number 7, instead of putting themselves, we need to say itself, because a colony is a collective noun. We've talked about that before, and the colony is doing something here as a unit. So it should be a colony can keep itself well hidden throughout the day. I'm looking at my notes here, and I just want to make sure there's not one that's confusing. I don't think any of these are confusing. So I'm going to let you guys do the rest of these. On the bottom it says try it, don't try it. And you can, but I'm not going to look at it or grade it or anything. So if you have already turned this in, you can still make corrections, and I will regrade your paper, your assignment. So happy working.